I'm John from Unqualified Gamers. Hello, a podcast member of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the one you're listening to now. The opinions expressed are those of each individual. Check out other podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com. And get ready, because geekiness begins in 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to Crimson Comet, a fan podcast about the TV show dedicated to the Scarlet Speedster himself, CW's The Flash. Welcome to episode 24 of Crimson Comet. This week we'll be discussing The Flash Season 1, episode 20, The Trap. Woot, it's a trap!
It's a trap!
I'm your host, Haley, aka Awesome Engineering Girl.
And I'm Will, a.k.a. Rum Daddy.
And I am George, in need of a nickname.
Hey, Haley, I have this bullshit back and forth with you every week, but you're going to tell us where people could reach us.
If they really wanted to, they could visit our website, crimsoncometpodcast.com, where they'll find all of our contact information. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube by searching for Crimson Comet, or you can call our voicemail line, 423-FLASH-53. That's 423-352-7453.
Even if you want to leave us a dirty message, at least you're thinking of us.
Now you're fishing.
And I will say, make sure you call us and not somebody else with a similar number, because we won't get that.
Because that's happened.
You can send us an email, crimsoncomet@gonnageek.com, or you can visit our forums, forums.gonnageek.com, or you can search Gonna Geek on the Tapatalk app.
Tapatalk. Which I've got to do twice because John's not here this week. We're being joined by George.
Right, George is not John. John is moving, so this week we have George.
I know. He's packing boxes and unpacking boxes.
I would hope by this time he's drinking celebratory pizza and beer.
Right? Or sleeping. Well, thanks for joining us, George.
Thanks for having me. Very cool.
George is here in the in Will's nerd hut, so surrounded by all my Pop Funko figures.
Oh, speaking of nerd swag,
yes.
I was at Who Fest this weekend, and I bought a flask, and it's got the little Flash logo on it.
That's awesome.
It's my Flask.
It's your Flash. Awesome. That's great. You're taking it with you to Chicago, aren't you?
Of course I am. Of
Yay!
course.
Which, by the way, Geekation, Chicago, coming up. What, we're 2 weeks away now?
Right. I mean, I would hope that if you're planning on going, by now you've already decided, but, last minute joiners are welcome.
We have plenty of floor space in all the rooms.
Well, not in my room. My room's crowded, but
Your
Will's
room.
room.
Is crowded. I'm sharing my room with Wing. That'll be interesting.
Enjoy.
He'll be speaking in Quebecois the whole time in his sleep, which would be fine because I don't understand French, so I'll sleep right through it. Or I will be keeping him up because I snore loudly. So we had a thing this week, didn't we?
Yeah, it was a pretty good thing.
It was a great thing. What do you think of the show, George?
I thought it was really excellent, really tight. Moved it all forward in a great way. I think it was a really good show, really good episode.
I loved Cisco more every time he opened his mouth this week.
Yeah.
Just everything that came out of his mouth was gold.
I kept, in my show notes, writing down, his little quotes.
Yeah.
Exactly. I have to say, at the beginning of the series, knowing that he's Vibe eventually, spoiler, right?
Yeah.
That's his character, right?
Yeah.
I remember watching it and being like, what? Who's this? That's not him. But I love him. He has so grown over the show and he's awesome. And he's really the heart of the show in so many ways. And I think he's great.
He's the voice of the audience more times than not. And he is the heart of the audience, where he geeks out for us. Right. And really, he pulls the audience, all the geek audience, into the family of the show. So.
Well, I will say, was it 2 episodes ago when they did the crossover?
Yeah.
And he was with Arrow, and who was he with? He was.
Oh, Black Canary.
No, but Adam or something. And he was going to name them. And I remember thinking to myself, all right, he's not naming everybody in the frickin' universe, all right? Because they made a joke. He was like, oh, I'm supposed to name you. I'm like, he can't name people on that show.
Right.
It's cute that he does it here, but...
Well, I like that he's like, oh, you get it. You're the only other one that's good at the names.
Yeah.
Right. So now we know when they do the spin-off show that Adam will be naming everybody.
Right.
Giving them fun names. And he'll be referring back to Cisco. Well, Cisco said I could.
Well, actually, as a thing, I have to geek out at the very top of the episode. Did you catch there were some big comic references in that opening sequence?
Like?
Huge. Actually. Wait, where are my notes? No, because
he's
like,
cute.
what?
He writes them down
I don't
on
know
a
if
piece
you
of
guys
paper.
read this yet. So the title of that newspaper article that they're looking at is this Flash is missing in Crisis.
Right.
Total throwback, right?
Right.
Right, where he dies in the comics, but that's a spoiler. But I mean, well, it's the comics. That's not the show. But I mean, I thought that was really cool. And then I love that we finally got to see Iris West Allen. They finally said it. I was like, all right. So
there were a lot of things they finally said.
Right? And then, what was the other huge thing? I was
Flash, founding member of...
Yes, I screamed out. Flash, founding member of...
...
I was like, say it! So that was like 3 huge things. I was like, whoa, let's start this episode. Exactly.
Well, I also like that Cisco had some thoughts on the suit, like, oh, I like the brighter red and the white on the emblem, like things that fans have been saying all season.
Exactly.
That was also that was really cool. They really put all in like 2 minutes. They threw all that out. It was awesome.
Which says to me they're really listening to the fan base. You know, they're not just like, screw you, we're going to do our own thing. They're listening to the fan base and they're incorporating a lot of stuff, which I can't wait. But it does beg the question that Cisco even brought up. He's like, okay, if I see it, when I make those changes, is it because I saw it in the future or is it because I'm doing, like, I thought the exact same thing. Why is he making those changes? Is it because he already knows the future is, or?
Well, then you know what and I'm sure you guys have talked about it before, but, this is and I read it. I've read things online where they're like, you know, okay, we're getting into really big time travel stuff. And I thought this episode did it well, explaining it. I mean, to be honest, I've read Flash as a comic book for years. Sometimes it gets a little crazy. And you're like, and I even, as a geek and as a fan of Flash and knowing it all those years, even still, I'm like, all right, you're getting a little nuts with the time travel. So it's a touchy subject, but I thought they did a great job to be like explaining it simply and getting that in there. I thought that was well done.
And I think it was last week we found an article that said time travel is going to play into the end of this season, and we're going to see parallel timelines possibly. It was a rumor, but yeah.
It's a rumor, so they're going to do parallel time. Like, is he going to go back and save his mom? Is he going to get his dad out of jail? Is, you know, if that happens, how does that affect every other timeline? And we end up with the Flashpoint paradox.
Which is so good.
I need to rewatch it because the first time I watched it, I was having such a fun time with it. But now I need to just let it really sink in.
Now that you're really thinking about it.
Now that I'm really thinking about it, yeah.
Well, now maybe I'm jumping a gun, but like later when they were like, okay, Cisco, you have these dreams and let's take you back because that happened in another time reality, right?
Right.
Well, I love that Cisco makes references and he's like, okay, is this Inception or Dreamscape?
Yeah, that was cool. That was cute. That was funny. But I was like, it was funny to me because they're like, oh, okay, so it was this whole thing about like it didn't happen.
Right. Joe said it. If it never happened, how can Cisco remember it?
Exactly.
But yet, I felt like, and now I'm being a little negative, I felt like they were all just so willing to throw poor little Cisco into this moment where he gets killed with a hand in his heart. And I'm like, you guys, like, they were all just like, yeah, whatever, Cisco. Like, it's going to happen.
They're pretty sure he's not going to die. Pretty sure.
I was like, you guys are very flip about this.
Well, the whole time, like, even just putting him in the helmet, they're like, yeah, we're pretty sure that this helmet won't kill you. You know, we're pretty sure you can't die in your dream. We're pretty sure we can keep you safe from Wells.
Right?
Right.
No, was that, now again, a geek thing, was that like a little vibe eyeglass thing, that helmet? When he was in the dream thing?
I don't know enough about it.
Vibe have like some weird 80s
right.
Sunglasses.
Well, those sunglasses, they were Oakley's because I was sitting on the couch making fun of the fact that he was wearing Oakley's.
Well, in last season he had Beats, or last week.
Beats, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, but I just was like, all right, I don't know if that's a vibe thing, but maybe they're planting a seed. But I thought that was cool.
Speaking of time travel, I did love his reference to Back to the Future. He's like, it's like Marty on the Polaroid trippy thing.
Okay, I forgot what that was. That was Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. He was
I wrote that down. I'm like, what is this?
Marty...
I know.
You've never seen Back to the Future? Get out of my house.
I have.
Dude, it's my job to not understand the references. Do your own thing.
I get. That's where they fade out of the.
Yeah, they fade out of the Polaroid picture. Yeah.
Okay, that's funny. I will say that Gideon Head and Gideon, this AI, it's been on for 30 episodes, but this was the first time I was like, oh, that thing's really cool. I think because every time Wells was talking to it, I was just so wrapped up in watching Wells and what is Wells doing and what is he talking. I wasn't really paying attention to that. And this is the first time where it kind of flipped and that AI was actually really talking. I don't know. It
really talking to him. And the reason
because it was dropping real stuff in this conversation. Maybe that's the other thing.
That's the other thing.
Because it's always just been Wells yapping, but this was like, we're getting real information from it. So it struck me. I was like, that thing's cool.
Yeah. And it's the voice of Baccarin, of Marina Baccarin.
Oh, really?
From Firefly, yeah. And Gotham.
And she's on Gotham, yes.
She's on Gotham. That woman ages so beautifully. She's so beautiful.
She's gorgeous.
She has a neck from like her chin to her ankles. It's all neck.
Yeah.
But I do like the reveal that the reason she's listening to Barry is because Barry created her.
Barry is her father.
Yeah, Barry is her father. And I'm thinking, you're not that smart yet.
But he's going to get a promotion someday.
Apparently. Now, here's the other thing. One of the things that is really, that I still can't figure out, and because, I'm old, I drank, I forget, is that Wells, who's not Wells, who's Thawne, goes back in time to kill young Barry, but he doesn't kill young Barry. He kills Barry's mom instead, but now he has to make sure that he creates the Flash. So why did he go back in time to kill young Barry?
He went back in time to kill young Barry because he hated the Flash, but the Flash Barry whisked him away, so he killed Barry's mother in rage. And then he lost the Speed Force. He was stuck. So now he has to make sure Barry becomes the Flash to try and get back to his own time.
Oh, because he lost the Speed Force.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
That was well explained. She's right. Yeah.
She's right.
I watch a lot of TV.
Which, by the way, again, a couple episodes ago, but that scene of the two of them running through the house, I was like, you know what, TV? Good effects on that show for that scene.
Exactly.
I thought it was really cool.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you guys talked about it, but yeah.
We talked about how great it looked, but you're welcome to bring up old topics.
I don't want to go back.
It's fine. You haven't got to talk about him yet. Go for it.
Go for it.
And he breaks out the notebook. All right, everybody, sit back.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Chapter 1. Boom.
Episode 1, Scene 1. My name is Ishmael.
I felt, what was it when we were talking about Cisco in the dream?
Yeah.
He went it was like burning, what was it, all that fire, right, where he was in was it in the flashback? He was in a fire, wasn't it?
No, the fire came later.
That was later. All right, then I am later. All right, never mind.
Speaking of fires, of course, it just so happens to be a big, huge fire in the city. It happens to be the building and the floor that the captain's fiance works at.
Well, of course.
So he's got to rotate his arms at super speed to suck all the air out of the room while still having enough air for the people to be able to breathe and not collapse their lungs.
Right. Nobody's like gasping for air or anything. It's fine.
It's fine. And then the other thing is, what the fuck did he do to his rotator cuff?
No, he's got super healing, remember? Speed Force.
Yeah, but spinning your arm that much?
Well, what is he doing to his hips when he runs all the time?
That's true.
And his knees. Come on.
I agree with you. I felt like he gave up a little early in that scene, too. He's standing there. There's people all suffering in this fire, and he was like, yeah, I can't get everyone.
It's making it worse.
I know.
He was just like, yeah, no, sorry. They're all screwed.
They're screwed.
I'm the fastest man alive, but no.
But then he was able to empty an entire train of passengers when the train was about to...
Not this one.
They're all in one room, and he's like, yeah, no, I'm too tired.
You're right.
I've had a long week. My girlfriend, sister, is maybe going to get married.
I know. My girlfriend, stepsister.
Okay, so Eddie asked for Joe's blessing.
Right.
Did not get it.
Okay, I was even surprised.
I was not. I knew he was going to say no.
That was harsh. And by the way, so here's I feel bad for Eddie.
I do too.
I feel like he keeps trying to connect to everyone in the show. It's all about the Allens. And it's like, even when they had when they had poor Cisco, just go back and maybe get killed. And then there was a big dramatic scene. They're all talking about it. And like, I remember they're all like, when they brought him back and it was all tense and Cisco's like, all right, I'm back. It's fine. The first thing out of Barry's mouth is like, my mom, my dad. And I'm like, dude, this kid just like almost got killed. Can you just calm down about you and your mother? We got it.
Also, Joe just shot a guy. Like, maybe give him a second.
That's what I'm saying. And Barry's like, no, my mom. And I'm like, all right, dude, like, just, all these other characters. Like, and same thing, like, poor Eddie. He's like, I'm trying to just get married, be a nice guy.
Yeah, he's so nice and so pretty, and things don't go well for him. That is not right.
I don't know if he turns evil, but if he does, I'm not going to blame him. I'm just saying.
Like, I understand why he's raising a long line of people to create a supervillain.
Right.
He's got anger in his DNA. So how many generations away is he from Eobard?
That is the thing. I have to say, don't they say it's like only like 2048 or...
Well, no, like 2024 is when Barry went back in time. But they've said that he is from hundreds of years in the future.
Right, because, again, in the comics, he actually is from way in the future, so...
Eobard is from...
Eobard, yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
Is from way in the future. But isn't he a contemporary of the Flash in the way future?
No, he's a contemporary of a descendant of the Flash, I think.
Oh, so he hates the original Flash, which is why he went back in time. So he exists in a world where they have the monument to the Flash.
Yes.
And the Flash Museum.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. So he is a speedster, but nobody gives him any props. So he is a spoiled child and says, well, fuck you. I'm going to go back and destroy what you have. And he goes all the way back and screws it up.
He just wants to rule the world. Okay?
In his yellow suit that's actually from 2015. Right? Right, you're hundreds of years in the future. You're still wearing some chunky yellow leather? What are you doing?
I'm not crazy about the reverse Flash suit. Like, I feel like it doesn't fit right or something.
It doesn't fit right, but I like how it fades from the black to the yellow.
Yeah. Well, I guess you could argue that it wasn't originally designed to fit Wells. It was designed to fit Eobard. And Wells has a different body type.
Whoa, that's so deep. I love that.
Good argument.
I shot down my own hole poking.
We poke so many holes in every episode.
It comes from a place of love.
We come back every week and we love it.
Well, a lot happened again in this episode. Yeah, no, the fire scene I felt was like the Spider-Man movie. Do you remember in the original, not this recent, the very first one with Toby?
Right.
With Green Goblin, where he had that fire, that the Goblin was there. And that whole fire scene, I was like, is Wells going to be there? Like, is this it's a trap!
It's a trap. It was such a trap.
But it wasn't. And I was like, oh, what are we...
Well, that whole thing with Cisco and Wells, it was working out too perfectly that I'm like, Wells has something up his sleeve. What's going on? I knew Wells figured something out and he was up to something. I didn't know how far back. But the thing that kind of like, oh, that's lame is that he has cameras hidden all over town, and there's scenes from the show. It's not like it's.
You're right. I paused that.
It's not even like a different camera angle or anything. It's
it's not a different camera angle from like from like a corner or something. It's they're just scenes from the show.
Not even scenes from Arrow or like something kind of like because I was waiting for is this like some cool, but it wasn't.
No, it was just scenes from the actual show. So apparently, Eobard Thawne has connections at the CW,
right.
And that's how he gets his footage.
Well, no, same thing with that whole setup. So and I'm sorry, again, it's all about Barry. Like, all that whole scene happened, and again, poor Cisco almost killed in this whole thing, in reality.
Right.
And then what does Barry say? He didn't confess. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, everyone almost died for you. Just like back it up for a minute. And you know what? Caitlin, she was like, all right, I'll watch from the secret room or whatever the hell she was.
Right.
This guy's a super speedster, Yellow Flash, who could like kill you with a stick. She wasn't safe either. I was also like, what does she think she's doing?
No, nobody's safe.
Well, to be fair, Barry did say this was a really bad idea.
And it was. They're lucky it didn't turn out worse. He could have taken them all out. But yeah, I thought that was really, I was like worried about Caitlin.
We were discussing last week, or actually I was discussing because I went on and on, about how the two female characters, Caitlin and Iris, were written so weak. They were very weak female characters.
Yeah.
Like Iris is Lois Lane stupid and not being able to figure out who the Flash is.
Now.
Finally.
No, but they had a whole, like, a very long scene. It's exactly what you're saying, where she's like, hey, so I think...
Oh my God, that was brilliant.
Gave people powers. And you were like, girl, that's episode 1. Like, it made her look stupid. Exactly.
Like, seriously, nobody has figured that out at this point. Because it's like, this one major disaster happened, and then, oh, hey, supervillains and stuff everywhere.
I'm like, I thought it was a given. I thought everyone in the city already knew that. And she's a fucking reporter.
I think she's going to take it to her editor, and he's going to be like, yeah, we didn't put this in the news because it's not news. Everyone knows.
Yeah, I know.
And you're fired.
And you're fired. Once again, Lois Lane, stupid.
She's going to get promoted. You know she is.
But yeah, that was it's in the future.
She's going to take Dick Pulitzer's job.
Yeah, she gets Dick Pulitzer's job. and then last week, Caitlin was just making stupid mistake after stupid mistake, like showing up to Wells' house and knocking on his door because she wanted to confront him one-on-one. And I'm like...
Okay, can I say, I think I didn't mention this last week. I thought we were going to find out that Wells and Caitlin had been having an affair.
Oh, you didn't say that last week.
No, I meant to, and I forgot. But last week and this week, both, I feel like there were just moments between those two characters that was like, huh.
Good call.
But I don't think they're going to do that at this point, because I think she would have said something.
They could have had an emotional affair.
Hey, he's been in a wheelchair. Yeah. What are they doing?
Just because his legs don't work doesn't mean nothing works.
And I'm sorry, and you got Bobby Amell.
Right.
Or him. That's
true. She could choose between Bobby Amell or...
Robbie Amell.
Robbie, excuse me.
But he was dead for a little while. I mean, she moved on.
He came back.
Yeah, but then he left again.
She could go to bed with Robbie Amell and wake up with the captain of the Titanic. So, and that's something you don't want to wake up to.
Oh. Yeah, I thought that was exactly. I thought that, and that Irish scene went on a little too long. Again, with that whole, it was like, you guys, we all know this. It was very strange.
Barry was very awkward in this episode.
Well, one of the things that I realized about the episode, that every time somebody had a conversation with somebody else, they were trying to accept the blame for everything wrong that happened. So Barry was like, it's my fault that my mother died. And, you know, the captain said, no, it's my fault that I didn't let Wells come and take Barry when he was in the hospital. You know, and everybody had an excuse to blame themselves. I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake, get on with it.
Yeah, I felt like Barry was a little bratty in this episode. Like I said, like all these other people are trying to kill themselves for you, and all you can say is, but my mom.
My dad.
Right. Well, a little bit. I mean, I get it. I like him, but well,
this goes back.
Come on.
This goes back to, you know, we started previous episodes of our show, we were discussing the whole Batman theory. Like everybody else, all the other superheroes going, but Batman is so goddamn gloomy because he lost his mother and father when he was a kid.
Well, see, but that's the thing, and that's why Flash is the polar opposite of that. Always. Right. He's always positive. And you know what? I always said, did you guys read Darkest Night, the comics?
I haven't read it yet.
It was like 2 years ago, I guess. But, it was all Green Lantern stuff, and every ring means an emotion.
Right.
And again, spoiler from the comics, but he gets one of the color rings, Barry Allen, and becomes a lantern basically. But he got hope. Of all the emotional spectrum, and I thought that was really cool because that's exactly
who he is.
Yeah. So you're right. This show has to be. You can't mire him down too much. I mean, the show's shot bright. It's shot sunny, and people are generally set. So it's a weird balance they have to walk.
It's the fun one.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want, Arrow's the whole love.
Well, that's what Felicity said when she ended up in Central City. She's
I thought it was supposed to be the fun one.
It's cute. You're right.
But the whole Batman thing where it's like everybody has lost their parent. Every superhero has lost their parent, but they all have managed to find time in their lives to smile, but Batman won't let it go.
Yeah, Batman's a dick.
Yeah, he's a dick.
Well-adjusted people don't become Batman. That's all I'm saying.
True dat.
But yeah, Iris finds out Barry's the Flash because, he shocked her.
Thank you. I was like, really? After all this time, that's what's going to bring you around. Okay. But, all right. I agree. I guess I'm talking. Did you think it was, I thought it was a little cheap.
Yeah.
after everything we've done.
I feel like they've drug it out for too long. It should have happened sooner.
I think it's one of those things where they've been writing so many other story arcs that at some point they finally were like, this is getting really stupid. We have to, like, at some point have her figure out who Barry is.
It wouldn't be as bad if she hadn't interacted with the Flash so much.
Exactly.
As much as time as she spent around him, she should recognize somebody she grew up with.
Right.
My point exactly.
Her lover.
Yeah.
Haley's right. He's built like a Q-tip. I mean, like, how many guys do you know? Oh, I changed my voice.
Well, and when he talks, even if he's changing his voice, which he's not doing that well, his speech pattern is so Barry.
Yes! Poor Iris, poor Eddie.
They kind of deserve each other. Like, they're pretty and not so bright.
All right, so what was... Now I'm going to fast forward the end of the episode, because it's funny, they talked about it in the show. I guess, so Eobard does know he's his relative. And then Eddie said that. He's like, oh yeah, you didn't kill me a few episodes ago, which I forgot. I don't know.
It was when they were in the thing with the spinny thing.
And the thing with the thing.
With the thing. And he didn't kill Eddie. He like ran right up to Eddie, looked at him, and then ran away.
Oh, when they were in the thing that they were recruiting, that Cisco.
Yeah, the thing with the thing. Yeah, the thing.
Yes, okay.
But it doesn't work on fake speedsters.
No, I completely forgot about
that. Was a twist.
The
I didn't see that coming either. That was kind of cool.
I forgot that they gave him a nickname because Hannibal Bates is such a perfect villain name. Why would you call him anything else?
Right.
I guess I had to look that up. I guess it's from there was a comic, the 52.
Yeah, the new 52.
From that. Yeah.
But Hannibal Bates is a perfect name.
This is why, again, this is a good episode, and why it brings you to look forward to the future is that he's out of the chair, Harrison. Like, it's done. This is all done. And it's kind of, where's he going to be now? It's kind of interesting and where it could go. I thought it was a great move forward for the show.
Well, at the end, wasn't that Grodd's tunnel?
Well, I didn't know if we were going to bring that up, but
yes, we are. We're going there.
Yes, we're going there because next week it's all about Grodd.
That was amazing. I think Grodd looks great. And exactly, I just think it just blew open the doors on the show in a great way. And by the way, true, because especially in this episode, and it's been building, and again, kudos to the show, I think, and to Tom Cavanaugh, but like the scenes with Wells before this, like they were creepy and like uncomfortable and like really gross, and it was like this couldn't go on much longer anyway. So it was. I'm just saying, I think the show did great. I mean, to move that out.
I agree, and I think Tom Cavanaugh has just knocked it out of the park with this performance on the show. I think it's been great. I would love to see him continue on the show and not leave the show.
Right.
So I wonder what they're going to do. At some point, is he going to always be Thawne, or is he going to split off and like they're going to separate again like they did with Firestorm?
Well, they didn't merge. He killed Harrison Wells and made a copy of his body.
Right.
So that was something completely different. But I do wonder if they're going to play with the timeline, which I think they are. So we'll have a Harrison Wells running around, and we'll have Eobard Thawne running around, both looking like Harrison Wells.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
Oh, that's interesting.
Maybe one of them will actually comb his hair.
That's how they'll tell them apart.
Even when Tom Cavanaugh is on TV doing interviews and stuff, he's always got these like wispy flyaways that are all like he's got crazy hair.
Oh my God.
The man's got crazy hair.
I'm so mesmerized by his eyes.
He does have beautiful eyes.
Again, I'm going to comic geek out for a second, but
that's why we bring you here for.
Well, do you guys? I don't know. Do you guys well, anyway, there is Professor Zoom. Right. And there's Reverse Flash. They both have the same outfit. They do. They're both like yellow Reverse Flash, but there's two different people. I'm just saying, I don't know if the show goes there, but...
Which one of them is Thawne?
Reverse Flash. So then there's also Professor Zoom, who's also Reverse Flash. So my point is that we were saying, will Tom Cavanaugh stay around? And my point is that you're right. There's even different versions of this Reverse Flash type character within the comics. I don't know if they explore and keep getting crazier with that.
But are they contemporaries of each other?
That's a good question.
Because there's 3 different Flashes, right? There's Barry, there's Wally West, and then Bart.
Bart did it for a while.
So there are 2 versions of the Reverse Flash.
So I don't know.
Okay, Dr. Zoom is a stupid name.
Professor Zoom.
Yeah, let's first start with that. Yeah, Professor.
Professor Zoom. Oh, I'm sorry. I downgraded him. You really need to listen to our second episode when we were making fun of Gorilla Grodd?
I can't remember if it was the first or the second.
About this. Yeah.
We
got an iTunes review about it.
Oh yeah, because seriously, we all got on the show. We didn't know a lot about the Flash. We read about Grodd and we're like, what the hell? So I go on Wikipedia during the podcast and I start reading who Grodd is.
And we were like, this is silly.
It is silly in theory, but again, you're talking about a 40-year, 50, 60-year history.
Exactly.
So,
but
he's
now
done some shit over that time.
Oh yeah, now we got schooled. So we did our research, and now I fucking love Grodd.
He eats brains. He eats people. He's crazy.
Yeah, Grodd's the best.
I don't know. They haven't really said. Well, I guess was he just hanging? They haven't really explained how he's in this show. Was he in Star Labs? And now he's
okay. There was a gorilla down in Star Labs that was being experimented on by the dickish General Eiling.
Yes.
And then the particle accelerator exploded and he escaped.
Yeah.
So between those experiments and the particle accelerator explosion, he became Grodd.
Right. You're right. I remember this now. And yeah, right. Very different from the comics where he's from a gorilla's city.
Yeah. Which is what I found very silly. Is that there's a hidden gorilla city somewhere in Africa. Really?
Full of sentient gorillas.
What's he eating down there in that sewer?
Alligators? I don't know.
What there's no bananas down there.
No bananas.
People's pet goldfish.
Which, if you go back and watch the pilot, is great because there's you'll see the camera will pan across and there's something in the foreground, but you're paying attention to what's happening out in the background.
No, it's not a gorilla.
No, it's a cage, and the cage is broken and ripped open, and the name tag on it says Grodd.
I do remember that. You're right. See, that's good. People are thinking ahead.
Yeah,
thank goodness.
Well, the showrunner, he's like you. He's been reading. Huh? Berlanti, his favorite superhero ever has always been the Flash.
Yeah, I love the Flash.
What's not to love?
Right?
Lightning gave him abs.
We picked the right superhero. I think that we have so much more fun with this than they do on Arrow.
Yeah.
Well, I really meant what I said. That's why I love the Flash. He's so positive, actually, in a way, in a world. And it's a good thing.
Which is weird, because, I'm coming from, Battlestar Galactica is the first show I remember, just crazy loving. And I was like, yes, dark is great, dark and gritty, that's what we should always do. And now it's I like popcorn too.
Well, exactly, it's right. It's not silly. It's still, well, although, yeah. That's the only thing with the rogues, too. I always hate how they're in the comics, they're oh, we never kill. I'm like, really? I kill. Sometimes they get dark. Sometimes, so it's right. It's not totally Pollyanna, but
sometimes people have to die.
Just saying.
How
many more episodes do we have left on this show? We're getting close to finale, right?
3, I think.
So this was episode 20 of The Flash.
Yeah, and there's 23 in this season.
Yeah, so we have 3 more. So we're gearing up for the
run towards the end.
I think that George should come back for the finale.
Yes.
I would love to. I'm serious.
We'll have a big group talk.
There's a lot of stuff going down. That's what I'm saying. They're doing a really good job.
Yeah.
I think it's a great. They're nodding to the fans. They're still. They just gotta, they gotta fix that iris. I don't know what's gonna happen.
I know. Well, there's so many. There's some really weak female characters on Arrow, but there's also really great, strong female characters on Arrow. There's Felicity.
She's hot. Again, I'm not really following Arrow because it's too dark for me. I like everything sunny. That's not true. But you're right. When they did the crossover, I was like, oh, she's awesome. She's really cute. Yeah.
Thea has drastically improved. Nissa
Al Ghul.
Right. But for some reason, the women on Flash, they need to improve the writing on them.
Look, we're in episode 20. They've had a lot of time to give everybody their go, and they're doing a good job. But this episode, I think, was really telling. And like I said, all these crazy things are happening, and yet it's all going back to Barry whining about my mom and dad. And it was okay, you need to back up and respect all these other people that you've given great story to, and let them go too. Barry's cool, but we can all live together.
And when you want pizza from, one of the coasts, Barry, go get us pizza.
That flipped me out. I was like, that's the first time we ever saw that. I was like, really? We're throwing Coast City in?
Coast City, which is LA, basically.
No. And this was last episode, right?
Yeah, last episode.
So I have to say, I'm watching it, and in my brain, I'm like, they cheaped out. These cheap bitches. They're just doing LA stock shots now, these bastards. And I go, and that's so not Central City. I'm like, what is wrong with the show? And then they showed Coast City. I was like, oh, okay. All right. I'll give you that. I was like, what happened? That was funny.
Although you're a big comic book reader on The Flash,
yeah.
We're trying to figure out Central City is supposedly in the center of the country.
Right. It's in the comics, it's like Kansas City, basically.
Right.
But in the TV show,
ocean on the TV show that he goes, is it an ocean or a big lake or is it one of the Great Lakes? Or?
That's true. The tsunami thing,
right?
Well, and then they've also said it's like 15 minutes from the Badlands, which are in North Dakota.
So it's like The Simpsons.
It is. There we go.
Now you're right. I forgot about that. That was a giant ocean and tsunami thing. So no, you're right. In the comics, he does no.
Although I will say that when Eddie goes to propose to Iris on the bridge,
yeah,
Toronto at night is very beautiful.
Oh, come on! In the comics, it's almost like Dallas Fort Worth is actually what it is. It's Central City and another city.
It's Central City and Keystone City.
Keystone.
Which I think is like the Missouri-Kansas side of Kansas City.
No, you're right. It's so in the right. So it's actually like this double. There's still no ocean.
Yeah.
Right. It's a really wide river.
I mean, the Missouri River is kind of near Kansas City, but it doesn't look like that. It is not that near.
Do you get a tsunami
from the river? Yeah. No, not so much.
River tsunami! Look out!
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
Catfish.
Covered in catfish.
What the hell's going on in Central City? Yeah, so, all right. Maybe they need to think a couple things through. That's funny. But that was an alternate timeline. That didn't even really happen, did it?
No, it never really did happen.
Okay, so...
Oh, wait, no. So this is one thing I picked up. So I'm watching him propose to Iris, and he pulls out the ring box, and the ring box is Tiffany baby blue. So at least now we know that Eddie goes and shops at Tiffany's.
Central City has the Tiffany's. That's impressive.
Thank God for that.
Classy town. It's not just a coffee shop called Jitters or whatever. What is that?
It's Jitters.
That they're always in. You're like,
one coffee shop in the whole town.
Come on, people. What was that scene with? When Eddie was going to ask, I forgot his name, the father.
Yeah, Joe.
And I love it. He's like, I'd love to talk to you without Iris, without Barry, without Caitlin, without Cisco, without. I'm like, oh my God! All right, just say I'd like to talk to you alone.
And then Joe goes, so you just want to talk to me alone, huh?
Like, all right, just say. I'm gonna shave like 30 minutes off of this episode. Anyway, sorry.
Well, I like that last week we put another guy down in the pipeline, locked him up, and then this week he's out again.
Down again.
Right.
Nobody stays in the pipeline except for Fart Man.
And Poof.
And Poof.
All the gaseous characters.
That's a big, longer thing, but like, who's feeding these guys?
Gunther!
Gunther is.
Gunther.
Did you hear about Gunther?
No.
So, at the Paley Fest panel.
From Friends?
After Friends was canceled, he's now taking care of everyone in the pipeline.
Tom Cavanaugh and Jen Aniston just doing shots. He's like, we need some. She's like, get Gunther!
Get Gunther!
Sorry.
So, at the Paley Fest panel that I went to, the question came up of who's feeding everybody, exactly what we're talking right now. And they all turned to each other and they snickered and they said, it's Gunther. Apparently, the actors came up with, because they have the same problem on Arrow too, where it's like, suddenly, everyone in town knows their hideout and knows how to get in.
And just walks right in.
Just walks right in. And there's no security. And so they came up with
Gunther. He's supposed to be guarding the door, but he's more of a turnstile. He's just like, yeah, come on in.
He's always out getting coffee for people.
Wow.
At Central Perk.
I was Okay, all right. So this has been discussed. People have thought about this. That's very good.
He's always just upstairs while they're downstairs.
and yet Gunther still knows more than Iris.
Gunther knows everyone's secret.
Nobody has any secrets.
Not anymore, they don't. Now that Iris knows.
Finally, everyone knows. I don't have to wear this mask anymore.
It's fashionable. In 100 years, everyone's going to be wearing them.
Because everyone's going to be a superhero in 100 years, at the rate we're going.
Pretty much. Once again, it's a fucking Cisco line. When he's talking about the hand coming in and squeezing his heart. Like the Kali Ma moment from Temple of Doom.
Yeah. Kali Ma.
I do that to people all the time. I just go, Kali Ma, Kali Ma.
And you know what? You're right. And you know what's so funny? He drops that line. And you're right. That was at a really tight, deep moment of what he made a funny joke. And again, nobody in that room laughed. And I'm like, you guys, that's funny, Barry Allen. Again, stop being so sick. My mom died. That was funny. Can we break for the funny? I just thought. I thought about that. I was like, they're not a raised eyebrow in the room.
I know, absolutely right. Well, last night, not to cross the streams, but I was watching last night. I was watching this week's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And there's this really great moment where obviously the Whedons wrote it, where they're all on the bus and Ward was there and he gives this impassioned speech of why they all are a family. And
Sky, I'm still glad I shot you.
Yes, Sky. There's this long pause. And she just goes, I'm so glad I shot you. And then every other character goes, yeah.
Should have shot him in the face.
Should have shot him in the face. Yeah, well, me too.
It was a really good episode this week of S.H.I.E.L.D. A lot of quotes. A lot of geeky quotes like this one had, too. Yeah.
They're really upping the geeky quote.
Playing to the fans.
Absolutely. So what else we got? Anybody else have anything to say about the show?
Eddie is Thawne's insurance policy. Wells' insurance policy.
Well, he can't kill Eddie because if he kills Eddie, it's the grandfather loop that he'll never be born.
But then he'll never go back and kill him.
Mind blown.
I know. Well, he can't get anybody else to kill Eddie until Eddie has sex with somebody.
But not Iris.
Iris.
Not allowed. Poor Eddie.
Well, Eddie could have sex with Iris. Iris could still spawn Eddie's child, but she can marry Barry.
So are you saying it's murder, fuck, kill? Marry, fuck, kill. Sorry. So
marry, fuck, kill.
So she marries Barry. Fucks Eddie. Who does she kill?
Reverse Flash.
Okay, that works. Yeah.
Well, like you said, also because there's only 2 women in Central City.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently. Because all the other ones move away.
So Eddie's options are very limited. Poor guy.
Yeah, whatever happened to that reporter chick that Barry was dating?
Well, was it Linda Park?
Yeah, Linda Park.
She was in the comics.
Right, and she's supposed to... She was dating... No, she married Wally West.
I was going to say, that's a Wally thing, right?
Yeah.
So that threw me.
But, I mean, that was a strong female that they had on the show, and they got rid of her.
And she was like, that's enough of this shit. And she left.
Exactly. That's why I loved it. She was like, this is ridiculous. She was funny. She's like, you guys are annoying. Bye. Yeah.
I'm going to go back to the karaoke dive bar and get laid.
And is anyone going to care that Iris's boss got, totally murdered?
No, he's in Brazil, remember?
That's right, he's in Brazil.
Right. Exactly. That guy, by the way, is Roger Howarth, who is from One Life to Live from years ago. He was on for decades. That guy, I was so excited to see him on the. I was like, what? But then it didn't last long.
He got the Kali Ma hand of death.
Yeah. Well, again, Iris will never figure that out either. So.
Yeah, no.
Iris, do you know where Brazil is?
Iris, show me on the map where Brazil is. Wait, let me call my friend Lois Lane. It'll take them 3 hours to figure out a 5th grade math quiz.
Yeah. But you know what though? Tight episode, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm excited to see where the next 3 go. And the Grodd thing is awesome. And again, it's kind of interesting that it's all been about Harrison.
Right.
And then strangely, just by the teaser, they're like, no, Harrison's working with Grodd or whatever that is, right?
Now, don't we love the fact that his initials are H. Wells?
I put that together.
Like
the time machine.
Yeah.
Except H. Wells was already a guy. He just stole his identity, so it wasn't even clever on his part.
I know. His middle name would be Gregory.
I was going to say, there's a G in there somewhere.
George. Harrison George Wells. His parents were Beatles fans, so they named him backwards.
Well, he's a reverse Flash. So
It all ties in. It's all connected. Oh, and don't forget that when we're down after the Flash wraps up, we're filling up our summer time by watching the 1990s version.
No.
Yes, that'll be fun. So we'll have you on for a couple of those.
That's kind of fab. Mark Hamill was really good. Again, I wasn't around for that, but I'm sure you guys talked all about it. But
he was amazing.
He was actually really good. They did a good job at that.
He was really amazing.
And
he chewed the scenery like no other.
He chewed. And Amanda Pays, right? Is that her name? She's from back in the day.
Yeah.
She was on Max Headroom. But
right. That's where I knew her from.
I guess she was on Flash too.
Yeah.
Back then.
Well, she played the same character.
I don't remember.
She played right.
Yeah.
She played the same character on The Flash as she played now.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, she plays the same in the
She looks great.
She looks great. In the 1990s Flash, she played his girlfriend, which was a scientist, and now she plays the same character. Like everything existed the same way except that there was no Flash in the 1990s.
Right. So or was there?
Or was there?
Time travel.
See, exactly. I still think that they're going to figure out a way to go back, and that older Barry is going to look just like his dad, and that's going to be who, because his dad was the Flash.
That's right.
So
see, it gets confusing very fast.
Very fast. And and Haley and I are both Doctor Who fans, so we're used to time travel crap, and this is much more difficult.
Right. Well, because I went to a Doctor Who con this weekend, and we actually talked about how in Doctor Who, time travel is just a mode of transportation to get to where they want to do the story, and then they a lot of times don't use time travel again.
Oh, she's right.
That's true.
Whereas this show, it's a part of the storytelling.
And it gets very confusing.
Well, and that's what I mean. Seriously, the comics have gotten outrageous.
That's why they got to reset the continuity every 5 to 10 years.
In the comics, you could live in Speed Force. You could
didn't Barry and Iris and their whole family disappear into the Speed Force for a while?
Wally West and Barry, yeah, Wally definitely. Wally and his 2 kids disappeared for years.
Well, they hang out in a Speed Force coffee shop, or
that's what's it gets confusing very fast. So that's why the show has to be very careful with a general audience. But
well, that's when you run your series of things for 70 years or whatever, it gets a little convoluted. I don't think this show's going to go quite that long.
I
agree.
God, I'll get tired of it after 10 years. It'll be the same thing that's happening with Supernatural. Exactly. I love Supernatural. But this whole season, I'm just
nobody wants to be there.
You could see the actors' faces. They're just tired of doing it. They want to wrap it up already.
But so I'm sorry to say, but I don't really, I watched this brother, but they had, I guess, their 200th episode.
That one was good.
Where they nodded to fan fiction.
Yes.
That was phenomenal. That was really good.
And it was a musical.
My only complaint is I wish the musical had started earlier in the episode, so there had been more music, but that's fine.
But yes.
But that's not the first time they nodded to fan fiction, because they've done it several times.
Well, yeah, the entire Chuck character.
And when they had they had the Supernatural convention within the show.
Yeah. So they do a good job with that.
They do. I mean, it's a great show, and we love hanging out with the Winchester boys. But even the Winchester boys are tired of hanging out with themselves.
I think the series should end with Sam and Dean dying to save Adam from hell.
That's cool.
Really dying. Staying dead, dying.
We forget that they have a third brother.
And they brought him up in the 200th. Oh, that's their other brother, Adam. He's still in hell.
Yeah. Well, he's got the mark of Cain, so at some point he's going to have to try and kill Sam. But that's another show. That's not The Flash.
Right.
Once again, we digress.
And now we're getting into time travel on that show, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Slow down.
Well, if you want to hear about other shows, you could check out the Gonna Geek Network. We've got tons of great shows available, including All Things Good and Nerdy, their latest episode, The Big Green Button. Naki has returned from Star Wars Celebration and shares some of the details of her fun out in Anaheim. If you thought that couldn't be topped, she also brings us the news that Telltale Games has partnered with Marvel to bring us a new video game. Not to be left out, Chris brings us the news that Gears of War is being prepped for an HD re-release on the Xbox One. After these major stories, it's a rundown of this week's news, including things like the the new picture of Jared Leto as the Joker, DC's new line of heroes for girls, Frank Miller returning to The Dark Knight, and finally a release date for Fast and the Furious 8. All that and more this week on ATGN. Let's get into the feedback, guys.
Yeah, let's get into the feedback. So did we hear from anybody?
We hear from who we always hear from, Adam.
Wow, this episode was just ridiculous. I haven't even seen the first 15 minutes yet, and already so much happened that it's just, everyone knows what's going on now, especially Eddie. Didn't see that coming quite yet. And Eddie was going to propose, not all that surprising, but hey, I was figuring it out, so I wonder how long it'll be before she lets slip to Barry that she figured it out. I can't wait to hear what you guys think. Talk to you later. Bye.
Yay, Adam. Thank you, Adam.
So he missed the first 15 minutes, but he sent us a tweet right after that saying, wow, that scene in the Time Vault was full of Easter eggs.
Well, I mean, George here pointed out quite a few of them.
Yeah, we caught probably most of them.
I don't think we're ever going to know what the Braille says.
Thank you. You know, I really did think that this episode too.
I was disappointed that they didn't call it the Braille Room.
Over at the Paley Fest, they asked what the Braille said, and they were like, I don't know, the set designer found that, thought it was cool looking. So it doesn't say anything.
I think it'd be funny if it did say stuff and it was just filthy.
You mean like our cast?
Exactly.
Poop jokes! It would be hysterical if it was all poop jokes. So how were the ratings this week?
3.93 million, which is a solid CW number.
Yeah.
That's a good number.
Yeah. That is a good number, actually.
And then we had a little bit of news this week. The question was asked, who created Caitlin Snow on The Flash? According to DC Comics, nobody.
Huh?
This is coming, there's a new kind of policy at DC where they're just kind of taking away creative people's credit for creating characters. So when they put them in TV shows and movies and things like that, they don't have to pay them.
Oh,
that's not cool.
Yeah, dick move.
They said nobody?
They're saying there's nothing unique about her character. She's derivative.
So Caitlin doesn't exist in the comic book world?
No, she does.
She
They're
does.
saying that the character isn't unique. That it's a derivative character, so you shouldn't get credit for creating the character.
Oh, because she's not the first Killer Frost. She's like the third or whatever.
I don't know exactly how they made that decision. Probably anybody that's not like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, they're just going to start calling derivative.
No, I was going to say they tried to screw Superman. Was it Jerry Siegel?
Yeah, Jerry Siegel.
They tried to screw him out of the money for a long time. That just like resolved a couple years ago, but yeah.
Yeah, but is he still alive? No.
Well, no.
Jerry Siegel? Is he?
Excuse me. If I was Jerry Siegel's kid, you'd think I'd be like, I need my Superman money.
Oh, that's true. Here's a pen. Start sending the checks.
That S stands for dollar. Okay.
That S put two lines to it.
Yeah. Well, and Jerry Siegel is one of the other people mentioned in this article. They said Power Girl was derivative, so he doesn't get credit for creating her.
Well, that's bullshit.
Define derivative.
Yeah, right?
As broadly as possible.
Yeah. That's interesting.
It says it's a character that DC decides was derived from some other previously existing character. For example, Power Girl derived from Superman because, like Supergirl, she's a relative of Superman, which means I can't claim to be her co-creator because Superman is a pre-existing character.
So you're somebody's son, but you're really just a derivative of your parents.
Exactly.
So you don't count.
You don't count. So you better make a name for yourself and not ride on Daddy's coattails because you don't count.
That's weak.
Speaking of Supergirl, when does that come out?
The latest I've seen is that it's supposed to come in the fall.
Yeah, fall, right?
When the fall shows start premiering.
At some point, we'll be talking about her as well.
Right. And then this was speculation, but that other spin-off show that's going to have like the Atom and everybody in it, that one is probably going to be a mid-season replacement show.
I can see that. And I can't see it as being like a full season. It's probably going to be a half season.
Yeah, I think the last thing I saw said it was going to be a 13-episode season.
Yeah.
But I might be thinking of something else. I've read a lot of TV news articles lately.
You've been a very busy girl.
There's a lot going on.
So do we have anything else going on? Have we all said what we need to say?
I think we've said what we need to say.
Right
I think I'm
on.
good.
Well, I got a question. What have we learned this week? George, do you want to start us off?
Well, I'm just going to stick with the theme I was talking about. I think you just don't forget what show you're watching. It's Barry Allen's show. You know, so you think you're a guest star, or a co-star, but you ain't. So read your contract, Iris West.
Haley?
I have learned that Grodd is coming.
Yeah!
Grodd. Oh my god.
Come on, wait, confess. You totally paused. You paused your DVR. Because I know I did. I was like, I kept rewinding. I was like, I gotta see this gorilla. I gotta see this face. I gotta see it. It was tough, actually, because it was like 1 or 2 frames. But man, I found it. It looked great.
I haven't seen it because I watched the show on Hulu and they don't do coming up.
You can find the
But I could find
trailers
it.
usually, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have learned that even though you give a girl a ring from Tiffany's, it doesn't necessarily guarantee you a yes. Aww.
Aw. Poor Eddie.
And he's just a cop. He probably spent a lot of his money on that.
I know.
He's on a cop salary. Well, his side modeling job. Come on.
Seriously?
Yeah. Although we've only seen him in a tank top once. He's always buttoned all the way up to his Adam's apple.
It's just not right.
I know.
I wonder if he's got like a weird third nipple or something.
I don't know. He stays in really great shape. He's kind of
Yeah, I mean, you could practically see his muscle definition through his shirts. So why?
through his shirt. No, through his suit.
Yeah.
Barry's not even shirt off that much. I mean, he's
in that one episode when, Lightning gave him abs.
Right.
That was it.
Oh, and then the time that Plastique burned his suit off of him.
Oh, right.
That's right.
And then this week when he had the hospital blanket pulled up to his armpits.
Yeah, I know, right? He had a big lunch.
This has been Crimson Comet, episode 24. Join us next week as we discuss The Flash, season 1, episode 21, Grodd Lives. Until then, I'm Haley.
I'm George.
And I'm Rum Daddy.
Bye.
Good night.
Thanks for listening. If you want to leave us feedback, you can find all of our contact information at crimsoncometpodcast.com. Find us on Twitter at Crimson Podcast or Facebook at facebook.com/Crimson Comet Podcast. Leave us a voicemail at 423-FLASH53. That's 423-352-7453. The opinions heard on this podcast are those of the individual host and do not represent Gonna Geek. The podcast is not affiliated with DC Comics, Warner Brothers, or the CW. No infringement is intended. The music heard is by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. Let's not talk about who does and doesn't have their shit together, okay?
Because this will put 3 of them in the can.
Yeah, I know. But our May download numbers are going to be huge. It's all a brilliant plan.
I mean, we have literally dozens of listeners.
Hey, we are listened to in 34 countries. But you should know, we're the trendsetters of the network.
We really are.
We do the puns, and now everybody's got to do some puns. We do poop jokes, now everybody's got to do poop jokes.
All right, that was excellent.
Yeah, we recorded it right at an hour, like we always do.
Yep.
Well done. Thank you, guys.
Because we're fucking professionals.
Will, you're burning bridges.
I know.
What are you doing?
Yeah, people don't like me much. Oh, well.
Oh.
I mean, can you blame them? I mean, what? Who said that?
There's a lot to hate.
But you make up for it with good rum.
Yay, Adam. Thank you, Adam.
Well, and he said he missed the first 15 episodes, so he tweeted us right after that. Wow.
You mean the first 15 minutes?
Or, yeah, 15 minutes. Whatever. Dude.
Wow, if he missed the first 15 episodes, he bullshitted his way through a lot of our podcasts, let me tell you.
Well, I went and saw Avengers tonight, and it was, fucking awesome. And I stayed in the theater all the way through to the end, because I was like, surely Joss Whedon is a lying motherfucker, and there is a post-credit scene, and there was not a post-credit scene.
Bastard.
He double-tricked me.